I gotta sit down right for this one. Hello, my name is Steve. Of course, I'm sure you can gather by my channel name, Martinez. I am a 36, 7, something, I forget my age, 30-something-year-old Hispanic male in Texas. The reason why I'm making this video, because obviously in this channel, I don't really upload. It's just an extra thing. I'm more of a, on YouTube, I usually stream more to my gaming page, but I've been lately down a rabbit hole of like call center stuff and like call center life. It started off, again, this is so random. This is just not me organizing this. This is just me straight from the dome type of deal. I was looking up videos of Japan. Then I ended up on a video of prison life in Japan. And then I ended up somehow, some way, the algorithm suggested a video of people who were deported to Mexico from Tijuana, call centers that hire people because they're outsourced out there or whatever. And then it ended up into another rabbit hole. Sorry, dude, I'm munching. Into another rabbit hole of just call centers and seeing people's experiences, their reviews and all that. So I just wanted to chime in. And forgive me for munching here. I have been working in call centers for about 10 years, 11 years, maybe more. Since 2013, so about 11 years, I believe. 2013 or 2012. I was with Chase Bank. That was my first call center. Before that, I started working at a country club and then restaurants. So I came in from experience, not call center. I came in from restaurant experience, walking around, carrying plates, bussing dishes, bussing tables and all that. So when I started working in call centers through Chase, it was a whole different experience for me because instead of moving around, it's a sedentary, or whatever the word is. You just sit down all day and take calls. And at first, I really struggled because I was taking too long on calls. And so what you learn as a new person with call centers is, in a sense, you're kind of micromanaged. Your time is micromanaged. So you go in, let's say, for example, your work schedule is from 8 to 5. So with most call centers, you have to have your system booted up by like 8-ish, 8 to clock in, right? And then most call centers, they give you about a 10-minute grace period for you to get your systems back up. So you don't actually go live and start taking calls until about 8:10, 8:15. Depends on the company. I've been to companies that don't have that grace period. So you have to boot up, be in your desk, have your computer up around 7:50-ish to accommodate the time for your systems to come up. Working in call centers, I learned throughout my years, because again, my first one was through Chase Bank. After that, I have more experience now, but I have it more in the healthcare industry through health insurances, Medicaid, Medicare, private insurances. The industry might be different, but overall, the call center world is kind of the same. I've learned through my experience. Your time, in a sense, is micromanaged, where you're going to have scheduled break times and scheduled lunch times, which is typical of a job. You know, you're going to have that. But usually with call centers, when you're on the queue, on the phone queue, you're going to realize that as soon as you go over your allotted break time, for example, let's say your break time is 15 minutes. As soon as you go over your break time, you may or may not have someone messaging you either through chat if you're working virtually, or someone going to your desk if you're working in an office, just making sure everything's okay, or hey, you're not back in the queue, what's going on? You know, because at the end of the day, time is money. You have callers waiting on hold. It's all about money at the end of the day, man. There's that. And then people who are new to call centers, is that, again, I'm doing this on the fly here, so I haven't really gathered my thought. I'm just talking out of my head right now. It's a different lifestyle. It's very different if you're used to working in person. Here, of course, you're working through you have a headset. My headset's over there. I'll get it later. But it's just a standard USB headset. Some headsets have the two ear holders. Some have one. I used to work at a call center that it was a Bluetooth headset. That was kind of cool, but it was just one. You'll learn after a while that, again, your time is monitored. You feel that, in a sense, you're chained to your desk, which is not a cool feeling after a while. But the way how I got used to it was I took it break by break at a time. You can't take the whole day and be like, oh, I'm stuck here the whole day for 8 hours or what have you, because that'll kind of get to you, man. So you take it break by break. So you go to your first break. You take a sip of coffee. You unwind a bit. You stretch or something. You go back into the queue for 2 more hours. You take a lunch. Some companies might have lunches for 30 minutes. I've been to a company where lunches were 1 hour. Those were nice. But at the same time, if you take a 30-minute lunch, you can get off work 30 minutes earlier. So that's pretty cool too. If you like talking to people, and if you like problem solving with people live on the phone, excuse me, it's out of focus. My apologies. Focus back, baby. We'll just go with this. And if you like talking to people like that, call centers might be a good position for you. You know, I've been dealing with it for many years now. And at first, I didn't really I still, in a sense, don't like talking to people in a sense. But I figured, number one, it's my money, right? I'm getting paid for it. It's not like I'm doing it for free. Number two, I kind of got off my high horse, and I'm like, dude, I'm working at a call center. This was pre-COVID, in an office, AC. I used to dress up with a nice little business shirt, slacks. I'm like, dude, I'm not out there sweating in the heat like some of my fellow Hispanic brethren out there backbreaking in construction. I'm not out there back in restaurants carrying heavy trays and busting my butt for pennies, you know? So, and I feel at the time I was getting compensated well in the call center. So I was like, this isn't so bad. You gotta put things into perspective. It really isn't as bad. And then, I'm sorry again. Forgive me. This is not structured. It's just that I've been watching those videos and it just had me thinking of speaking of my experiences. So yeah, the first one was through bank. Then after that, I went there was a call center. I think it was ACS Xerox, I believe. And I worked there for a bit. That was for about a year, maybe less. Now some call centers will hire anybody. And those call centers, you kind of want to be on a lookout for, because it's not necessarily the people they hire, because you know what? Some people have records. I get it. They're trying to rebuild their lives. And for the most part, at least in my experience in that call center that I worked at, ACS, they weren't that bad. It was pretty chill. They were cool. You just go to work, get out of people's way type of deal, stay in your lane type of stuff, and you'll be okay. But the flip side on that, because they just hire anybody, the company really pays you pretty much peanuts for that. I was getting paid under 13. I think I was getting paid 10 something for that. But this was at a time when I really needed a job, and those kind of call centers will hire anybody. So I'm like, I need something, so hey, I'll take it. After that, I started working in healthcare, and I've been to four different healthcare companies since then. So I'm pretty experienced with the Medicaid, Medicare, commercial insurances, and claim processing. So I'm familiar with that. Excuse me. But again, with those experiences, I've gathered that if you like talking to people, call centers might be pretty good for you. But sorry, it's out of focus again. But again, not everybody wants to stay on the phones all the time, because after a while, every once in a while, it does get to me in a sense. But again, you have to ground yourself, and it's like, dude, just take it break at a time. You can't let the calls get to you. You can't let the job get to you, because if you let it get to you, they already won, and it's gonna mess you up, man, as an agent and as a person. I have a friend who, unfortunately, the job has gotten to her, and it's really messing with her personally, and I'm trying to help her out on the side there. But you have to shut off. Once you're off the clock and you're done with the job, you have to get it off your back of your head. That's it. You're done. Go live your personal life. Yes, it's going to repeat again the next day until the weekend, until your day off. But it's just like any other job. You can't let it get to you, man. I've learned through working here in call centers that you really have to prepare how you take your lunches, what you eat for lunch. If you work in the office, you really have to brown bag your lunch, because the company, for the most part, the companies aren't going to care that you have to drive to a restaurant, drive down the street, go down to the lobby of the building to get some lunch. They're going to tell you, okay, your lunchtime is between X and Y. You can't be late after Y. That's it. So you learn after a while tricks. Bring your little cup ramen. Bring your sandwich from work. Excuse me, from home. That's if you're working in the office. I work at home because of the pandemic. I haven't been to the office since then, and it's pretty sweet. But even then, working at home, the what's that word I'm looking for? The illusion, the prestige of working at home wears away pretty quick. Yes, of course. I can literally work like this in a nice gray shirt, boxers, just taking calls. I can go topless, just let them all out, taking calls. No one's going to know. No one can see us. But the trade-off with that is at the end of the day, I'm still chained to my desk in a sense, you know. I have experience, so they let me get away with some of the stuff because I have experience and I'm pretty good at my job. But those who are new, you'll learn after a while, you might feel the same way I did. You feel kind of chained to your desk. But again, that's when it goes back to the mentality. You got to take a break at a time. You're going to have rude callers in any industry because obviously customers are calling in because they have an issue. They don't call their insurance company or their phone company or healthcare company or whatever just to say hi. 9 out of 10, they have an issue. There's a reason why they're calling you. And you have to take the call and you have to be courteous. You don't have to kiss ass. Some people do the most and they try to, oh, hi, I'll be happy to help you, this and that. And that's their personality, I suppose. I'm not like that. I'm pretty much more direct. But I'm not rude. You know, you learn soft skills if you don't have them already. Don't be rude to callers because A, that's your job. And B, it's nothing personal, dude. Don't be rude to people. Now, unless the caller's being rude to you, still don't stoop to that level, but be firm about it. I've had issues in the past where a caller was like, oh, you're dumb, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, hey, do you want me to help you or not? I can let you go. Or I can put you back to the queue. You know, excuse my dog. That's my buddy right there. Excuse the mess, by the way, man. I got such a mess over here. But, you know, call centers, it can be fun in a sense that you get to talk to different people outside of business of the reason why they're calling. Some callers will open up and you can make small talks about sports, about life. I've had some pretty deep conversations working in the call centers with customers about the most unrelated stuff. And it's like, at the end of the call, you're like, you know, that was a cool person. I hope the other one was pretty cool. And the next one usually is not. It's usually an escalated call. And then your teammates, you'll notice after all your coworkers, I usually try to say, just keep to yourself. Keep your head down. Do your work, dude. You're not here to make friends. You're not here to make family. You're here to pay bills. There's nothing wrong with trying to be friends in a sense of, at the end of the day, it's all business. If you know people, you can move around departments like that. Get off the phones. But just be careful there because some people will backstab you. And I think that's the same with any office, really. What else comes to mind? Because again, I've just been watching these documentaries and I'm like, yeah, that's how it is, man. I'm sorry, this is literally just a rant video. So again, I apologize. Nothing is structured here. I'm just off the cuff right now. Nacho cheese, boy. I guess my big thing to people is that don't let the calls get to you. Don't let the job get to you. To the point where it messes you emotionally and physically outside of work. Because, and this is going to sound a bit harsh, at the end of the day, we're just numbers, dude. We're just bodies taking calls. Like, if you croak one day because you're feeling some kind of way and the job isn't worth it and, you know, heaven forbid you pass away or whatever due to a heart attack or anything else, the job might be bummed out for a bit, but they're going to be like, okay, well, we need someone else to replace that person. The machine keeps rolling on. There's nothing wrong being part of it in the sense that you want to grow. When you work with a company and you see that there is growth there, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Get your money, bro. Get your career. Because I've worked in back office jobs at call centers too. I haven't always been just frontline customer care. I've been about 1.5 years processing medical claims. So I see both sides of the world. And there's nothing wrong with trying to go for like a trainer position or what have you. Some companies are good with growth like that, and I think that's awesome. I think everything that's cool. Some companies, unfortunately, don't care, and they're gonna outsource it to some outside country where they can get labor for cheap. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna cut this video. I'm just ranting. I wanted somewhere to rant, to throw in my hat into this whole call center stuff. I go into a rabbit hole and I click record. Like, what the hell, man? All right, see you guys later. Bye. Bye.